Welcome back, folks. This is Tommy, Help with Gadgets, and we've got a really cool knife to do a disassembly and cleaning of today. This is the BeEDC BE Seaxy, and that's Brian Edmonson, and you probably know BeEDC. There he is. And he allowed me to bring this one home from Blade Show and to do a disassembly and cleaning of it and review and all that kind of stuff. So I want to say thanks to him for allowing that, and let's go ahead and get into it. The pivot screw is here on the show side, so we're going to take that loose. This is a knife that's made by Tuya, and we have a free spinning pivot here. So let's see if we can get this one broke free here. It's not wanting to, so I may have to, let's see if I can hold it. I think I'm holding it. Nope. Alright, let me go get a pair of, I don't think I have a glove in here. Sometimes you can take like a latex glove or one of those medical looking gloves. So hang on just a second. Alright, let's see here. Don't know that if this is going to work or not. Let's see what happens here. That's just spinning. Alright. And that's just spinning. It's not working. So let's try something else. Alright, I was able to put a little pressure on the blade there, keeping my hands clear, and it is slowly unscrewing. So there you go. There's another way to do that. But just be careful, especially on this nice cool blade like this, that you don't put any pressure on that tip. Alright, so that got that. And there's 3 body screws here. Let's see, they are also, no, that's the wrong one. I think they're T8s as well. Yes. T8s. There we go. And then the last one's in this blank there for the pocket clip. Let's see if I can get those to come out. Knife's coming apart on me quite easily, so should not be a problem. There we go. Let's get that one loose. There we go. So that one's the one. Okay. Keeping them in order just in case. Probably are going to be the same length. And it's not wanting to come out. There we go. Alright. And then that should come right off as such. Okay. Nice. And it should it's wanting to come apart. There we go. Okay, there we go. Very easy. Just showing you the insides there with that nice milling. Just going to take the blade off. And I'm going to pop that pivot out. No, we're not either. Drop that in there. It's not wanting to move on me. It was turning, but it's not wanting to press out, and that's okay. we don't really have to take that out. Let's go ahead and get a cotton swab. And let me turn this blade up and get that bearing out. Let's wipe this down. We'll get into the area where the bearings go in a little bit. Go ahead and wipe that blade down very, very good while we have it apart. Nice hollow grind on this blade. Alright, drop that in there as well. Alright, we'll wipe this down. The weight reduction pockets aren't real deep, but you can see they've milled some out there. Got a full length back spacer. Clean this pivot off. Alright. And then we'll wipe this one down as well. And we'll wipe the carbon fiber. This is very cool, by the way. Alright. So we'll get a fresh cotton swab. And I'll get these bearings out and clean those off. And then we'll set those to the side and let them dry. And I like doing that to keep with a fresh cotton swab, just to keep any junk out. And then let's clean off this pivot screw. Get that nice and clean. Wipe that pivot screw off. Alright, let's go ahead and get a cotton tip applicator out of my box here, because I want to clean out some things here. One being this area where the bearing goes, and also where the pivot goes. By the way, you can see that's S90V there. And then I'll wipe off where the lock interface goes. We'll clean out that area where the opening hole is. Alright, anything else we need to clean out? Yeah, I think we want to hit this over here. Same thing for that pivot hole. We'll just wipe that off. Alright, I think we're good to go now. Alright, time to start putting it back together. And we'll go ahead and take this and I'll put that opening up because it'll go into the hole that's cut for the bearing on the blade. And I'm going to put just a little bit of gunny glide's what I like using on there. And actually, let's go ahead and put a dot of. Come on. Here we go. On that detent ball. And we'll put this on. And hold that in place. We'll go ahead and put that on. And again, just a little bit on each side up next to that pivot. I don't think any actually came out there. Alright. What I want to do is put it on that close to the pivot so it'll drop down in there. And then we'll put this liner bolster on. And I want that to snap into place there. And it's not wanting to. Let me. Okay. That's interesting. It doesn't look like that pin is lining up. And I don't think it is lining up. I'm just not able to. Okay, there we go. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of patience, and we don't want to force anything. But if we can get everything to go into place. Okay, let me pull that back apart. I don't know. Well, that's not wanting to line up. We'll figure it out. Okay, that's not moving any. You've got your pins here. I know. I think I know why. Maybe not. No, it should be dropping in. Okay. Try to kind of fit it over the pivot first, and then seeing if we can get it snap into the. Okay, that's fairly even there, and I should be able to. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, let me. It just took patience, like I said. We put a little bit of Loctite here on this pivot screw. And we'll get that started, and then we'll get the. Okay. Make sure. Okay, that feels pretty good as a start, and then we'll get this part put on. All right. We've got our 3 screws here. And again, those are T8s. So we'll get them in place. Snug them up. We don't need to tighten them too much. And you'll notice I run, a lot of times if it's not lining up, I run that screw backwards. All right. And then forwards and finish. All right. We have nicely centered. Its action is good. It's not moving. and it feels good here. Let's see. Yeah. And as that well, just a tiny bit of oil spreads around, it'll get even better. So there you have it. Disassembly cleaning of the BeEDC, the BE Seaxy, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. Hope to see y'all again soon. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching.